Hello everyone, it's Pat and welcome back to my channel. Coming on today to do our insights, messages for the month of July 2026. First, happy 4th of July to everyone out there in the United States. I hope wherever you're celebrating, however you're celebrating, that you had a good time and that you were cool. It's really hot. We've been suffering through quite the heat wave here in the United States this week. I think it was like countrywide. But fortunately, I think as we go into next week, it's going to be cooling off a little bit. At least I know in my area it is. And thank goodness I can get back to getting a good night's sleep. So before we get started today, I just want to take a moment and send, just a moment of peace and send prayers to places in the world that have been adversely affected. I'm thinking Venezuela, who had those two back-to-back earthquakes, really strong earthquakes within seconds of each other. And that area is just devastated. You know, whether it's people in Iran, people in Gaza, war-torn areas, places suffering from natural disasters. Our love, peace, prayers go out to them so that the avenues of supply, medical supplies, food supplies, can get to them. That's my prayer for them today, sending that out to them, okay? So moving on, I'm coming on to pull some cards to get an idea of the energies that are going into this month of July. I do also, as many of you know, pay attention to if there's any astrological things going on. And this month, we do have Mercury retrograde going on. It started on the 29th of June, actually, and it's going on until July 23rd. And what's important about knowing that is it just makes the energy of things a bit wonky. It slows down everything down. The energy can get very heavy. It can be communication issues, issues with electronics, things like that. But there can also be a lot of fun benefits to Mercury retrograde too. But I always just find it's helpful to know when it's going on. It's like, oh, so if you have electronics that all of a sudden do weird, crazy things on you and crash or something like that, you can blame it on Mercury retrograde. So that we have that going on this month. There was a full moon at the end of on the same day that Mercury went into retrograde. So that was a lot of intense energy that was coming in there. But anyways, so when I pull these cards, I always pull Archangel cards and usually something from a different card deck. And some of the messages are, like to be predictive if I get a sense of anything. But also a lot of them are prescriptive. They just have a message about how we can best handle the energies that are, coming up. So with that being said, let's jump right into it. What's going on for this month? So the Archangels are really kind of the overseers. They kind of give you the bigger picture, I think, of what's energies that are going on and what to work with. First, we had Archangel Jeremiah with this card, All Is Well. And the message on it just says, everything is happening as it needs to be right now, as it's supposed to, with hidden blessings that you'll soon understand. Now, from what I've watched, because I do watch quite a few other channels, to see, what the astrology is and what other readers have to say. July looks like it's going to be a pretty kind of a roller coaster month. And it could be a lot of shock and awe this month. So when I saw this message from Jeremiah, I'm like, okay, they're coming in to reassure us that everything's going to be okay. All right. What this card speaks to is, sometimes things have to be dismantled. When we ask for peace and for things to be better, we have to dismantle the old, the things that aren't working. And we know it's been glaringly in our face for a while now that there's a lot of things that aren't working. And so he's coming in. It's really a message of reassurance, okay? Everything's going to be okay. Hang in there. I feel like it's this month is the beginning of a turning of a tide, for the beginning of the end for certain regimes, governments, changing out of things. So, and especially, these things that are corrupt, what have you, that need to be changed. Okay. So, and I do these videos if I'm just sharing, intuitions and insights that I get. So it's for entertainment purposes only. Okay. I don't have any secret backhand knowledge from some government agency or anything like that. But so anyways, Archangel Jeremiah giving us some reassurance that everything is going to be okay. And these, may speak to things in your personal life too. If they're feeling a little upside down, he's letting you know that ultimately it's going to be okay. All right. We also had Zadkiel come out with this message of clairaudience. Pay attention. Notice the loving guidance you hear inside your mind and from other people. I think it mainly speaks to, as I mentioned earlier, one of the issues that can come up in a time of Mercury retrograde is miscommunications. So I feel like it's an urging, reminding us to really pay attention to what people are saying, okay? Make sure you fully understood what you heard them say. You can ask them to, let me just make sure I understand you. Let me make sure I understood what you said or what you like. This card also speaks to compassionate listening. All right. And the card says what you hear from other people, it speaks to a couple of things. One, sometimes if there's something you've been wondering about or praying about, sometimes the answer can come from something that you overhear or that somebody else says to you. You're like, oh, and it captures your attention. But I also feel like it's listening compassionately to other people. And they're, in your own personal life and in the world at large, we may find people coming forward to speak the truth about things. Or maybe they're in a tough situation or they've been unjustly treated. And so we are giving our compassionate listening to them and being in that space with them, okay? Holding space for them, I guess I would say that, all right? Archangel Ariel is coming in with this message of spread your wings. Don't hold back. The timing is perfect. You're ready to soar. So as opportunities come forward, it's a card of growth and expansion. All right. Sometimes we need to, not just start new things. We need to grow into them, and we have to expand our awareness. We have to, be willing to step into bigger shoes sometimes. And, this speaks to the fact that, you may be ready to move on to something that's at the next level. You may be ready to leave the nest, okay? Or someplace that you've been for a long time and you've learned as much as you could learn there, and it's time to move on to the next thing, okay? So that's why it's spreading your wings, expanding your opportunities, stepping into bigger shoes, something along those lines, okay? Expanding your consciousness, even expanding your awareness, okay? Test out new things. Okay, that's another example of spreading your wings a little bit. Okay. Now, the final card that came out for us today was this one from Archangel Raphael, and I think it's probably more of a prescriptive message. It says, give your cares and worries to us angels and allow us to take your burdens. And so it's about, when we get into those places where we're, kind of worried that the world's going to go to hell in a handbasket, or there's situations that we're having a tough time with, and we've all been in them, where you just realize that you have to let go of control, okay? Surrender it. Turn it over to your higher power, whatever you conceive of that to be, all right? And don't let it burden you, okay? The reason I love working with angels is because I became aware a long time ago that we don't have to do everything ourselves. We don't have to do it alone, okay? Spirit works through us. they work behind the scenes to help us with things, and they often work through other people to help us. So, and part of that may come in the form of somebody listening to you. Okay. Now this card of clairaudience, it certainly speaks to that gift of clairaudience that we all have to some degree, where notice the loving guidance you hear inside your mind. No, it's not always being schizophrenic, hearing voices. I know when I hear my guides or angels say something to me, it's usually pretty direct, and it's always kind and loving. But for me, they help me with my timing of things. They'll let me know, okay, you need to do this now. So it's kind of a fun thing to work with, because all of a sudden they pipe in out of nowhere, and it's like, oh, okay. Okay, so those are some of our overarching messages for things that I see, that are coming up as far as, for this month. Let's see. I pulled from the fairy deck because I thought, the fairies are usually pretty uplifting. They're definitely connected to the outdoors, and it's summer, and it's time when we're all spending more time outdoors, and we're around that fairy energy, and it's fun, it's playful, etc. But I think they had kind of a more serious message with the cards that came out. So first of all, we have this message of walking away, sexuality and inner power. And, honestly, as I looked at these, and especially as you look at them together, we may see some situations come up where people are walking away. And it might even be like a mass exodus from something. I have a weird feeling about that, but people are walking away because of like sexual misconduct, or they're being treated adversely because of their sexuality when they shouldn't. And people's inner power, it's our power rising to the surface. Taking our power back where it's been given away, to other people in situations. And I sort of feel like we may see, the Epstein files come back into the picture again, that come to the forefront of the media again. I'm not getting super specifics on it, but that's, as I saw these three cards come out together, or one right after the other, I thought, oh, okay, this walk away card did feel like it could be like a mass exodus from leaving a company, or even in the government. I mean, we've kind of already seen it happening in the government, where long-term public servants, if they were asked to do something illegal, or they're uncomfortable with what's going on, they've just been resigning, walking away in protest, essentially. But this felt a little bit bigger when I looked at it. And so we may hear, I hope I'm wrong about that, that maybe it's a mass exodus from a company due to a sexual misconduct, or, something to do with people walking away from something because in some way they're being mistreated because of their sexuality or their sexual orientation, okay? And it's because the inner power that, it's been said this is the year of the fire horse, which is a very fiery kind of energy, but it's stoking up people's personal power to, walk away from situations that are unjust, and to speak up and speak their truth about things, and to seek out justice for it, okay? So so that's some of the insight I got from those cards. Now, I pulled also from Colette Baron-Reid's deck, The Wisdom of the Oracle. I love this little pocket size. It's really just the right size for your hands. So, one of the cards that came out here is this deep knowing, which is really having to do with listening to your deep intuition. The little owl on the card sitting on top of the moon. The moon is a lot about insight and intuition, and the owl is often symbolic of deep knowing. So it's about paying attention to that part of yourself as part of what we're doing this month that knows deeply, that deep intuitive, and sometimes it's very subtle. It just feels like an inner shift or something where you know that you need to leave, you know about something, or you can feel a shift happening in the world or in your life. You know, it's that deep inner knowing. Now, this time to go card came out in the protective position, which just may mean that, you know, maybe that deep inner knowing is that you know or sense that something is falling apart, or, you know, maybe at a relationship level, someone even broke up with you or something, and it's time to go. But at the same time, in protection, it's kind of like, well, it's not quite over yet. Or even though you're pursuing new opportunities, as the Ariel card brought up in here, and expanding yourself, the current situation hasn't come completely to an end. It hasn't played itself out completely yet. Or, you know, something that you thought was lost, gone, done, isn't completely, okay? The following message was this go to the sea, which is really about going with the flow. So it's kind of prescriptive, or it could simply saying that's what we're doing this month, as I mentioned with this angel therapy card. The go to the sea card is about going with the flow of things and surrendering that control and kind of following the flow of the energy and how things are playing out. I mean, it certainly could also be a literal message here. I mean, it's July, it's hot. We're all kind of going to the sea, if you can. If you're on the beach, whatever, wherever there's water. So I know that's what I'll be doing this month. Always love to be out in the ocean, the water. At this time of year, it's so beautiful, and it's nice and cool with the breeze and everything. If you get a good day to go out sailing. But anyways, so in general, I mean, this is a month where we are going to have to. There may be a lot of stuff that comes out in the media, people coming forward to speak their truth. You know, we're going to have to kind of just go with the flow of it. You know, not necessarily try to control the outcomes, but kind of see how things. Now, not trying to control an outcome doesn't mean you don't take action on something, but it sometimes speaks to like allowing things to unfold, to see where things are going to go. And we can't control other people and situations, but you know, trust in your intuition and what is to you feels like the right guidance or the right intuition, the right thing to do, the right action to take. You can also call on your angels and ask them for the best next step to take as well, okay? But, there was another card with the fairies. The Collect, Bear, and Read. This exchanging gifts, and it's a bit of a karmic card. It's about, you know, reaping the rewards of all the effort, the time, effort, and energy that you've put into something. So there certainly is that. You know, and I want to say with these two cards that, you know, don't feel like all your hard work, your efforts towards something were for nothing. Okay? This card says it's not over. Things aren't completely lost. Okay? I do feel that message with that combination of cards there. So anyways, so that's some of the insights I get for this month of July. Thank you so much for joining with me today. I'm in the process of building up a new website. It's relaxlifecoaching.com. And, you know, I do intuitive readings, coaching with people, and I, you know, for individuals who are looking to de-stress. I'm a Reiki master. So people who are looking to de-stress and embrace a more relaxed life. Okay? Thanks for joining me today, everyone. Take care. I hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend. Thank you.